Well, we're having a great day of fishing up here at this alpine lake on a multi-day backpacking trip. We're just over 10,000 feet and it's been awesome. And I felt like on this trip, it would be a perfect opportunity to answer the question, can an extra large hunting knife be an excellent backpacking and camping fixed blade? And I have here the Montana Knife Company Triumph XL. I picked this up a few weeks back on one of their drops. They're newer to the market. They launched just a few years back, Montana Knife Company, but they sell out in like minutes. So I picked one of these up. Now this tool is designed as a large game processing knife for like elk, moose, and bear, but the weight, the thickness, the blade profile is ideal, I feel, potentially for backpacking and camping when you're counting all your ounces like we did on this trip. So we're gonna put it through the ringer, see what its capabilities and limitations are. I'm Aaron, this is GEDIONSTACTICAL. Let's dive on in. Well, we made it back from that trip safe and sound, and that was such a cool, special, unique experience to be up at that alpine lake that my dad and I, all alone in that remote location of the Rocky Mountains, is a special chance to be able to connect with creation and just think through life. What drew me to this Triumph XL is that this is 5.1 inches overall blade length, which normally would be pretty heavy, maybe 3/16, you know, pushing 10 to 12 ounces, depending on the tool. That is not the case. It is 0.14, 2 or 3, give or take, on the thickness, meaning it's just a hair over 1/8 of an inch thick and just under 5/32 for an over 5-inch knife is very unusual. Has a high flat grind, full tank construction, but weighs in at 6.1 ounces for the knife itself and like 8.8 with the Kydex sheath. So it is quick on the draw, fast and nimble, and thin and slicey, but does not get hindered in the capability of durability because of the steel choice. 52-100 ball bearing steel that is being worked by the founder of Montana Knife Company, Josh Smith, who earned his Mastersmith rating from the American Bladesmith Society at the age of 19, which means he was the youngest bladesmith to ever pass the Mastersmith test, meaning that there's knowledge and quality behind the working and creation of these tools that Montana Knife Company is creating. Now, this particular design is made by Josh Smith and the guys at Montana Knife Company, but the design comes from John Dudley, who is a world-renowned archery hunter. So he had the idea for this, Montana Knife Company made it for him, and this is the Triumph series. This is the extra large, there's a more compact version as well. So that profile is just so wicked and just connected with me, and that's why I had to buy it, pick it up, and start using it, on top of the fact of the specs and just how lightweight and thin. Now, because of how thin it is, certain steels, it would fracture, it would break, you know, it wouldn't be able to hold up to abuse. But because 52-100 is a tough steel, but has better edge retention than those basic high carbons like 1095 and 5160, means it will hold its edge longer, but it's rather durable, and I absolutely saw that in its capability around camp, being able to break down wood to help for kindling for a fire, easily able to handle that. So I mean, if you can span it, you'll be able to break it down, even though it's thinner. You know, it's got that thin stock, but you know, a 3.5-inch log that you're just breaking down for some kindling to help get your fire going, easily able to be capable in doing. And then really it's the finer work where this is just a dream. Feather sticking, easy to do to help you get that fire going, and just natural woodworking. You know, you're able to get like little notches in because of how thin and light and quick in the hand it is. With a flat spine, you can get really close to the tip. And the tip, though very precise, and knives are not crowbars, do not treat this like a crowbar. I did piercing, stabbing, and some lateral side to side, and it held up, again, because of the excellent heat treat on that particular 52-100 high carbon steel. And then because of the extremely high flat grind and the thin stock, it's gonna be an epic food prep knife around camp, but then obviously its intended purpose, game processing. Regardless if you're fishing, now we were doing catch and release, but this would have easily been able to clean any of the fish that we caught up at that lake. And because of the compact sharpening choil, you are able to hone the entire edge. Now, what about this striking feather pattern handle? And before we dive into the ergonomics, let's jump back to that Alpine Lake. And as we're discovering whether or not this tool is worth throwing in rotation, I can tell you one piece of kit that I take with me every time I hit the backcountry, and they're today's sponsor, which is Zoleo and their satellite communication device. And they got a screaming deal going on through September 17th, which is $50 off the device itself, plus a 6-month free membership to the Gaia GPS Premium service. And with hunting season upon us, this gives you the ultimate adventure duo. With Zoleo's seamless global messaging via the Iridium satellite network, progressive SOS alerting with 24/7 monitoring and response, check-ins with an easy push of a button, as well as sharing your GPS location with any message sent. Paired with Gaia's offline maps and navigation, giving you the ability to discover hikes, plan trips, and navigate and record data. And that's just scratching the surface of the capabilities of the Zoleo satellite communicator. So I'll have a link in the description below this video where you can hop on over there, see all of its capabilities, and score yourself a great deal during this limited time offer. So that feather pattern is just so unique. I love it. Cut in, giving you a little bit of texture, but it's not creating any sort of hot spots, but you got good grip for G10, which is important for particularly a hunting knife because micarta tends to absorb moisture, blood, guts, all that stuff, and could stink, smell. So the fact that it is G10, it will not absorb any of those type of fluids that you may encounter on the game trail. And so that texturing is gonna give you what you need so it's not slick, but it's not creating any hot spots either. And because there's no texture on the bottom and on the top, means that your pressure points are gonna feel great. So I really appreciated that. The handle is like 4.5 inches overall. You can see I got tons of real estate with my large size hands. Goes into kind of a flare out near the back and then tapers near the neck with contoured G10 all the way down to just the point of the guard. The guard is milled, so it's not sharp in any way, so you can really choke up, no jimping. You're really locked in to control the tool. You got that really nice just like valley right there to just rest your thumb, do what needs to be done. Now, a lot of times on skinning knives, hunting knives, the neck is very thin and tapered. Now, it obviously is. In reality, I do wish that it was as thick as it is back here, right up here. But thankfully, it's like 0.8 on the height. And that's very similar to another very popular fixed blade I'm gonna run in for competitive options here in a little bit. So it did not feel too narrow for me, and I felt like I was able to use the tool and my index finger was not floating, which can sometimes happen with these very narrow necks. I was able to feel in control and grip the tool. It's got a nice G10 handled shelf right there, so you can really latch your thumb like that and really grip the tool if needed. And then you can choke up, pull, and do more of a caping motion and really control a larger tool very easily. Now, there is no lanyard hole. That's totally fine because it's intended to be a hunting knife. The curvature back here absolutely allows you to get that little wrist flick in, so you could delimb stuff, like as thick as your pinky if you needed to, or shape a piece of wood quickly if you had to in a pinch. So ergonomically, I was really pleased that it's not just a hunting knife. Ergonomically, I can totally use it as a general utility or camp knife, and it feels good in the hand. Now, a hunting knife has to have a good sheath, and they've done a good job with this taco design Kydex sheath. You get a tension screw right here that when you tighten it down a little bit, there's like no blade slap. So it's stealth, not going to spook game. So that is excellently done. I tend to back it off a little bit more so that it's a little easier to pull in and out. You might get just a little rattle there. And then you're gonna get a good drainage hole, and it comes with a Kydex belt clip. So you can either run it on your belt, or you can rotate it and you can run it either horizontal at the small of your back, or you can feed that through most backpack straps and carry it upside down for a quick pull. And I actually tended to clip it onto my pocket and use it in that capacity because it is a high ride. That's the only thing to kind of be aware of. If you ride it on your belt, that's gonna definitely be kind of digging up in your ribs, and therefore you may wanna look into finding an aftermarket drop leg attachment. I know Easy Welke produces some really good ones that I may end up putting on this long term. Now on my model, I am having a little bit of a tension issue. When the screw is completely backed out, I can't back it out anymore before it'd fall out. Got a good thumb ramp. it grabs the blade, and then I have to do kind of a secondary pull, and you can feel the Kydex really sucking onto the blade. So the good thing is I'm not ever gonna lose it. I mean, that thing, this is as loose as it will go, and it ain't coming out. So I mean, that's a really good thing, and it's not engaging at all with the edge of the blade, dulling it in any way. It's just the tension grabbing onto the stock there is pretty thick, or tight, excuse me, meaning that there's just kind of feels almost like a suction that you have to kind of pull and overcome to get it out and then push back in. So up to this point, this blade is checking a lot of boxes, having crossover capability. But now for the reality check with competitive options and pricing. What did I pay to get my hands on a tool that has this level of fit and finish, quality control that I can definitely see in the design of this blade? I paid $325 for this knife. I know, it's been a while since I've thrown down that much money on an edged tool, and I literally, just like you, I mean, I feel it. Even though I'm a gear reviewer and I hope that this video is unpacking its capability, and that's why, partly why I purchased it, but I'm also was sitting there looking at it when it dropped and went, okay, 325 bucks. Is that really a wise expenditure of my income? Is that really what the audience, you guys, need to see? Does this blade have crossover capability? Am I potentially going to be able to use it in different types of scenarios if I'm going to throw down that kind of money? And so then I felt like, yes, let's give it a shot, boom, and I am pleasantly surprised. I'm very pleased with its crossover capability, performance, ergonomics, and design. Now currently, Montana Knife Company has several designs that they will release batches of, and they sell out super quick. This was sold out in like 5-10 minutes, it was gone. And so be aware of that. Currently, when I'm making this video, this is not available. There will be another batch coming at some point. And they also have some staples that just are always in stock, or at least that they're attempting to always keep in stock over there. And I will have a link in the description below this video so you can check out all the different designs. Like I have a Magna Cut Speed Goat, video is coming soon. Been working with this, carrying this a bunch. You know, they have a lot of different designs, both small and large, that you can take a look at. And for that money, you know, I mean, that just for some perspective here, we have an American-made SOG pillar with S35 VN stainless steel, full tang, micarta handle scales, very similar profile really, but a lower flat grind, a little bit thicker, a lot of different transitions and angles. An excellent field knife, combat utility tool, but I wouldn't take this hunting. I really wouldn't want to process fish with this, and I don't take it backpacking just because it's more designed as that crossover field tool that can do a lot of stuff in a pinch, but isn't ideal in certain scenarios. And that comes in again like under $200. Then on the flip side, the Reef Knives, American-made CPM 3V steel F4. That's gonna be about the same price, about $325, $330 last I checked. A little bit smaller, 5/32, excuse me. Lower flat grind, G10 handle scales. They're now coming out with micarta. I believe they're coming out with a scanty grind version of this as well. Kydex or leather sheath options. So lifetime warranty, made in the USA. So those are just some examples for you to kind of think through. And the idea, I believe, with this tool, and even what the company states, you know, to use, abuse, and pass down. That's the intended purpose, that you hopefully will keep this the rest of your life. You have this, you know, hand finished. Josh Smith, an American bladesmith, master bladesmith, is hand finishing these blades. And so knowing that it's a small company, you know, certain brands, good luck trying to get customer service. Sure, you can spend $20 on some Chinese knife. Maybe it lasts you a year, maybe it lasts you the rest of your life. But there's something different about using an American-made tool. You'll just have to determine for yourself, is this design, is Montana Knife Company in general something to pursue after or not? That's what I hope that I've done in this video, is not only giving you some good entertainment for you blade lovers and outdoor adventurers, but helped you better determine for yourself what this blade and Montana Knife Company is producing. And for some of you, highlighted a new American company making their blades right here in the USA. So appreciate you guys so much. Look forward to hearing the comments. Throw down your opinion, not only on this blade, the materials, and if you own a Montana Knife Company blade, leave a comment below and let me know how it's been performing for you. I always appreciate the feedback and data that you guys, the viewers, give back to me. It helps me continue to make content and have good data lines for the future. Check out the other video popping up and subscribe if you haven't yet. And until next time, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.